Hello everybody and welcome to Casual Tech Review. In my last video, I did a little bit of a deep dive into some of the sales data from my local area and found that aesthetics, while looking great, don't always contribute to more active sales or more customers for my PCs. So I decided for this next build that I'm going to do, I was going to try to do something where I did not really put much effort or money really into the aesthetics of the build. But I am going to do it with a little bit of a twist, and I set for myself a $250 build budget for all the components, not including shipping or tax. But with $250, what can I do on a purely performance-based build? And I was actually pretty surprised at how capable this computer is. So let's go ahead and see what $250 can get you for a gaming PC in 2024. So quick breakdown of the parts that I'm using in this build. For the processor, I've got an Intel i7-6700K, an MSI Z170A motherboard, 16 gigabytes of DDR4 3000 megahertz RAM from Apacer, 500 gigabyte MSI NVMe, an MSI 1660 Super NVIDIA. For the power supply, we've got a 650 watt gold-rated Montech power supply. CPU cooler is going to be a CoolerMaster Hyper 212 Evo, I think it's called. And for the case, I've got the DIYPC S08. I will go over the exact prices that I paid for each of these parts and where I got them from after we do the build, but let's go into a quick little montage of me putting it together, and then we will check out its performance. This whole computer cost me a little bit less than $250. How did I do it? The processor and the motherboard I got together in a bundle with some other things, but the cost of the processor and motherboard, $75. The RAM I got as part of another bundle along with the MSI NVMe. They were $20 each, so $40 for the two of those. The graphics card I got on Facebook Marketplace for $70. The power supply I also got on Facebook Marketplace for $25. The CPU cooler, the CoolerMaster, I got that thrown in when I bought a Ryzen 5 3600 processor. I paid $50 for that. Unbeknownst to me, the seller went ahead and just gave me this for free, so $0. If you're keeping along with the math, we're getting dangerously close to the $250, and I still don't have a case. So I had to look around and try to find pretty much the cheapest case that I could. I needed something less than $40. There are not too many options in this price point, and I knew that RGB was probably not going to happen. as well as cable extensions. I wasn't going to have money for both of those, but this is a performance-based build. I wanted to get the most performance in it that I possibly could, so I went with this case, the DIYPC S08. And to be honest, I actually kind of like it. It has an interesting look. It's got some gray and some black, a tempered glass panel. It did only come with one fan. I did put two NZXT 120 millimeter fans that I pulled out of another pre-built, so I did not assign a cost to those. They were just laying around in my storage. So the total cost of the entire build, $248.99. I got the whole thing together for just under $250. But we didn't come here to talk about how much all the parts cost. We came here to take a look at how much performance can you actually expect out of a $250 PC. So let's take a look at the results. If I hadn't mentioned it yet, the point of building this computer was to compare this one in a couple of different metrics against Peak Customs and Budgeteers with the same constraints of a $250 budget. We were going to look at how they performed in Fortnite and Apex Legends. Well, newsflash, Fortnite didn't go the best. Number one, your guy is not a gamer, and so it took me a long time just to figure out what performance mode was, and that made a big difference. So once I figured that out, I was able to actually play the game, although I was not able to do screen recording because that absolutely killed the performance, took it down to about 15 frames per second. So I do have a recording. It's really bad. It's of me playing Fortnite. I don't know what I'm doing, so I just kind of ran around and got killed a bunch of times. But it's me playing Fortnite, and my cell phone camera is recording the MSI Afterburner results. It's not perfect and it's not scientific, but generally you see I'm getting an average of about 45 to 50 frames. It was mostly playable in performance mode, but there was a lot of stuttering and lags where it would bind up for a second, drop down to 5 FPS or 1 FPS, and then recover and move forward. It was not the most fun playable experience. I'm not very good, knowing what settings to click, so maybe there was a better way I could have done it. I'm not sure, but Fortnite was not awesome. I didn't know anything about Apex Legends when I agreed to do this, so I finally downloaded the game and tried to play it, and there was like a whole bunch of tutorials or something you had to do, and I just didn't feel like doing it, so I did not do Apex Legends, so I totally have bombed this competition thus far. But what I did do was run this computer through Heaven Benchmark and Superposition, and here's some of the results that I got. In Heaven Benchmark on 1080p medium, I got an average of 63 frames per second with a low of 7.3 and a high of 110. It looked pretty good. It stuttered a tiny little bit when it got down to 7, but other than that, it was really, really smooth. And for 1080p medium, I thought it did a pretty good job. I also ran it through the Superposition benchmark, and it did well on that also. 1080p medium, I got an average of 43 frames, a low of 23, and a high of 59. So a much closer variance there between the low and the high. And overall, it rolled pretty well through the benchmark and did well. Superposition is a little bit more demanding on the computer, hence the lower numbers. But overall, I still think it did okay, considering the total cost was $248.99. So having those performance statistics in mind, what do I do with this thing? Should I try to sell it as is? Should I try to make some incremental improvements and then try to sell it? I'm really torn. It's not a high performing PC. I imagine it'll knock out like Minecraft or something pretty competently, for web surfing and stuff. It would probably do just fine. But I just really did not enjoy dealing with a computer that performs this poorly, especially nowadays. It really doesn't cost that much money to get something quite a bit better. For an extra, $150, could have got a much better CPU and GPU combo and not even had to think twice about the performance. So let me know what you guys think. Should I sell it with obviously a very upfront description of its performance capabilities? Should I save it for something? Should I tear it apart? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how it stacks up to Peak Customs and Budgeteers computers. Mine's not the prettiest thing to look at, but for $250, I don't know. I think it's not terrible. But I'll leave that up to you guys. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all the support. I'll have a link for my Discord in the video description and also on my channel page. Give me a like, give me some feedback, let me know what I can do better. Let me know any things you'd like to see on the channel. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.